Security, escort this gentleman out, please.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
So item number 39, please.
Item 39, a second reading, an ordinance approving the annual rate increase pursuant to the franchise agreement for ground ambulance service for the City of Sioux Falls with Paramedics Plus, LLC.
Good evening, Jill Franken, Public Health Director with the City of Sioux Falls. Again, item 39 is the ordinance to approve the annual rate increase for Paramedics Plus. The contract between the City of Sioux Falls and Paramedics Plus stipulates ambulance services will be provided without subsidy, and that the primary means of compensation will be through fee-for-service reimbursement of patient charges. In turn, annual rate increases will be the greater of 3% or the increase of the urban CPI for any given year. All rates and charges for services shall be approved by the REMSA Board, or the Regional Emergency Medical Services Authority, and the City Council. The CPIU for the year ending May 2016 was 1%. Therefore, the rate increase before you is that 3% increase I stated earlier. Prior history of rate increases with the City of Sioux Falls in the previous employer or provider averaged 3.4% annually over the last 5 years. So over 5 years, we've, on average, it was rural metro at that time, received an average rate increase of 3.4%. Today, you're being asked to approve a 3% increase. The contract between the City of Sioux Falls and Paramedics Plus requires response time performance, equipment and supply requirements, appropriate staffing credentials, clinical performance, and approved medical standards and protocols, quality improvement, dispatch performance standards, and customer and community satisfaction measurement. Contract compliance, as we've discussed in previous meetings, is assured, and oversight is provided through the EMS Quality Coordinator, EMS Medical Director, the daily Pulse review meetings where they review all calls, quarterly case review, the REMSA Medical Board, and the REMSA Board. Contract compliance and quality assurance validates Paramedics Plus has met all the contract's compliance requirements. They request the 3% rate increase as stipulated in the contract between themselves and the City of Sioux Falls. Mark Postma is here as Vice President of Paramedics Plus. We also have leadership from the REMSA Board, the REMSA Chair. We have a REMSA Medical Board member here, and also our Medical Director for EMS Services. I think I recommend to you approval of this rate increase, and I believe Mark Postma would like to say a couple words.
Mr. Postma?
Good evening, Council, Mayor. So this is our first year here in the City of Sioux Falls, and we believe this past year that we have met or exceeded the expectations of what we could accomplish here. We provide, in regard to our response time compliance here, it's the highest compliance we have in our entire company in regards to what those levels are. In addition to that, for some that weren't on the council, our start was delayed due to pending litigation, and we had to be, we put back being able to start this operation in approximately 2 months. And this is complicated because ambulances are custom built. You can't go out down to a dealership and buy an ambulance or buy the equipment. Everything gets custom built. And we performed. We flew additional people in here to make that happen. And this first year, although there's been some bumps in the road, we have met those challenges, and we're going to do better as we move forward. And I think the health department, Ms. Franken has went over those, and I think you are also given a report on those of the different benchmarks, including the American Heart Association Bronze Award, which first time and only operation in South Dakota that has that. So we would ask that you would approve it. It is a contractual, and we would ask that you would move forward with that. One other second item, the last meeting we were at 2 weeks ago, some public comment. I want you to know my job is to make sure that my employees are safe. As we speak right here, I got over 500 people providing EMS to people in different cities in the United States, including this city here, working along with your Sioux Falls Fire Department, working along with your Sioux Falls Police Department. Comments that were made in public forum, in my opinion, very strong words, and I would ask that this council use stronger discretion when people make comments about shooting public officials, specifically our employees. And I would ask that you would use stronger discretion in that area. Other than that, that is really all I have. And like I said, we would like to see you move forward with this. Any questions?
Mark, we'll have questions later.
Oh,
But,
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thanks for your comments. Appreciate it. Jill, any other comments?
No, I think that should do it for what information I was to provide for you for second reading. Thank you.
Jill? Council, before I go to you, folks, this is a second reading, so you have the opportunity to engage the council on this topic before I go to them. Is there anybody who wants to talk about this particular item, item number 39? Very good. Councilors? Oh, okay. Mr. Hirschman?
Scott Erisman, Sioux Falls. I know that you guys are probably legally bound to approve this contract, and I know there's been a lot of questions about why are we even voting on this if we have to approve it anyway? You know, that's a good question. But I will say there are some things here that you need to look at. Number one, you know, Jill Franken said it's splitting hairs, but she says we don't subsidize the Paramedics Plus. We do subsidize them through our fire department. Because we pay taxes that fund our fire department who show up and help them on the EMS calls. Then they turn around and bill the patient. So there is a subsidy there. And also, some of the concerns I've heard from people about the way that they bill their clients and how they show up and stuff like that. I think that really, you know, like I said, you guys probably have to vote to approve this tonight, but I think there really should be a strong look at REMSA and overhauling the way that the data is being given to the public and being given to the council and what truly is going on. When you only have a couple people controlling the data, that's not a good situation. You really need to have more maybe electronic things in place so this data can't be controlled and make it look like things are going okay. And I also hope that Paramedics Plus tries really hard to get more mutual aid. And I also hope that they try really hard to pay their workers more and set up a plan to where that they have highly trained people working for them. I know this probably isn't an easy vote for some of you because I think some of you would probably just like to say, no, I don't want to renew this contract, but let's look at it positively and maybe down the road figure out a way to make this more smooth so you're not have this stuff thrown into your laps and just being said, hey, you got to rubber stamp this, it's just part of the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Welcome.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, Gary Myers, REMSA Board Chair. I just wanted to reiterate to the City Council and to the public that the REMSA Board and the REMSA Medical Board does support the work that Paramedics Plus has done in their first year of their contract and does feel that the Paramedics Plus organization has met and often exceeded the expectations in the contract. So with a few stories that are out there and a few pieces of the puzzle that are still being worked on by Paramedics Plus and the REMSA Board does support the work that Paramedics Plus has been doing. And as part of the REMSA Board, we are the validation for that data. So as part of the process, we look over everything that is done within the City Health Department and confirm all of those things are validated. So that is the group of the REMSA Board and REMSA Medical Board as a group of volunteers that are appointed. We are that validation process for the citizens of Sioux Falls through that contract with Paramedics Plus. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Tim Stanga. I just recall a little bit of this when this was brought up. I think it started out as 4 ambulance services bidding on it, then 1 dropped out. City of Sioux Falls took the most highest of the bids. If I'm correct, and I'm just going off from the tip of on this one, but if you took 3% and you added it on to the lower bidders, the 4-year contract, the people that were lower on their bids would be cheaper than what they're getting now. And you just sort of shake your head. They just wrote a contract, and I'd like to see, some of the city council ask, they'd like to see the contract that they just wrote up with the Veterans Administration and find out why that's cheaper than it is for the citizens of Sioux Falls. And why is it that we want to have a 3% increase for the citizens of Sioux Falls to pay? What do we have to do? Subsidize it so they can make some money or show they're making money? I think this deal with RUMSA, I think it has to be revamped. I was asked if Jill Franken worked for them. Well, supposedly she works for the citizens of Sioux Falls, but the way I understand, it's not quite that way. People of Sioux Falls do realize that anybody that does come up and they talk about the ambulance service, they are going to talk good about it, because these people, again, they're told the song to sing, and they're going to sing the song. People of Sioux Falls are not stupid. They're starting to wake up. They're starting to realize what not only the administration, but what politics is. Because really and truthfully, this is politics at its best. We think Washington is broken. This city, between some of the city council people and the mayor's office, is totally broken. And the only people that can put this back together is the citizens of Sioux Falls.
Folks, anybody else want to engage the council? Welcome.
Hello, I'm Danielle Merrow. I just have a question for liability purposes. The Ion Keloland special did kind of disturb me that they just didn't show up for the child that when they called 911. I have a question. So if they were to sue, would that be a lawsuit to the city of Sioux Falls, or would that be a lawsuit to the ambulance company?
And Danielle, this is a public input point. We'll certainly take your question
Well,
under
okay,
but
you can't answer that question,
not
sir?
not right now. But I mean,
Oh,
if there's
okay.
a point, but
That's-
your
As a
question has
taxpayer,
been. Thank you.
and yes, I would just
Thank
like
you.
to know.
Do you have any other comments, Danielle? All right, great job. Thank you. Council?
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Urbanbach.
It's been a motion to approve item number 39, seconded by Councilor Urbanbach. Councilor Urbanbach.
You know, Mr. Mayor, Ambulance Plus employees are our friends and neighbors, and many of them came over to Paramedics Plus from the previous provider. And the folks that are on the REMSA board, and I see some more than just the chair that's here. I see you here. These people are my friends and neighbors. These are people that are volunteering their time. They're highly trained. They're medical professionals. They're not just random people off the street. And they're helping us provide really quality service. They represent this city and they represent our citizens. And quite honestly, I'm absolutely appalled at the way these people are being characterized in public and in private. Don't appreciate it. I don't understand how people can stand up here and just trash these good folks. And I can't decide either whether people want cheap service or if they want quality service. And so I just want to say to my colleagues that I'm voting tonight in favor of quality service, that I know based on experience, based on not only as a citizen but as a customer, And as a person who has some experience in the healthcare industry, I understand the rigorous quality that this organization has to go through, those standards. They're meeting every day to look at every single thing they do. And ma'am, they're taking very good care of our people, all of them. Don't believe everything you read and don't believe everything you see on TV. I'm voting for quality, and I encourage my colleagues to vote in favor of this as well.
Councilor Neitzer?
Could I ask a few questions of Mark Postma, please?
Mark?
Could you remind us when the next pay increase is going to occur?
I believe it's annually. I believe it's an annual contractual arrangement.
Did the 2016 one already happen? Are we looking at 2017 yet? There's going to be 2 of them, as I recall.
No, it has not happened.
Okay. How long does a paramedic work under somebody else before they're let out on the truck on their own to be the lead paramedic?
Well, every single person is different, so they go through a regiment and a training, and then that training comes to an end, and they go through the REMSA qualifications to become a paramedic. So you may have an individual who takes 6 months, or you may have an individual who's worked for a paramedic for 10 years and can get through the training in a certain amount of time. But those qualifications, I'll remind you, are REMSA's qualifications in the city of Sioux Falls, and were clearly outlined in the RFP. And all we do is we meet those qualifications. And Dr. Luther, who I believe is here, oversees this process. So every single one is different, and it really depends on their training and how much background they have in EMS.
Are you familiar with something called an incident report?
We have incident reports in our operation, yes.
And when an employee fills one of those out, what happens to it?
Well, it depends on what kind of incident report it is, whether it's a medical incident report or if it's an operational incident report. An operational incident report would be handled within our own organization, and a medical incident report would be taken on by REMSA. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know the exact name of a medical, is it an incident report, doctor? Okay. Say that again? A matter of interest? The technical term is a matter of interest in regard to medical.
And that will go to REMSA for
That is
review?
correct. That is correct.
Are the paramedics involved ever interviewed?
Absolutely. Are you talking about a medical incident?
I'm talking about a medical incident.
A
Does
medical
REMSA
incident?
ever interview?
Absolutely. I believe by Dr. Luther. However, I will tell you, this is their process, not ours.
I'd be happy to have him answer.
Okay.
No, that's fine. I think what we will see in the medical or the matter of interest form that can be filled out, sometimes anonymously, but if it regards any matter of medical stuff, well, then that incident is looked at specifically. I will get the matter of interest form sent to me, and if it's a medical, we review the medical call in its entirety. But if you look at the quality in this system, it's multi-layered, multi-agency, and multi-discipline, in as much as I look at it, review it with Paramedics Plus medical director, and then depending on what the nature of the incident is, we will meet with that paramedic and review the call. This is all a collaborative process. And if there is an untoward outcome, that's something that is so far askew from our standards, then we will take action if it is with respect to the individual's skill sets or knowledge base or whatever it may be. We will take action to remediate that individual, again, depending on what it is, anything from just some training to removing them from the street. So there is a mechanism in process that reviews those, particularly with medical. That's taken very seriously, and it's under heavy scrutiny.
Has that happened since Paramedics Plus took over? Has anybody had any disciplinary action?
Not that I'm aware of.
How long has Paramedics Plus been running here?
Just coming up on a year, or just over a year.
Okay. May I ask one more?
Sure.
This is for Mark again.
Okay.
In the past,
Yes.
in the past year, are you aware of any paramedics working with an expired license in the city of Sioux Falls?
I'm going to have to refer to our Chief Operating Officer, Mike Bureau. So if a person has an expired license, we get notified by numerous, keep in mind that these individuals are licensed at several different layers, by the state, by the National Registry, or it could be as simple as their driver's license. So when we get notified, then we suspend. That's company policy. But to answer your question, Mike, you'll have to answer your question. Answer that question.
Certainly. At this time, no one within this organization
Mike,
is working
could
on.
you just introduce yourself to the
Certainly.
people of our town, please?
I'm sorry, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike Bureau, Paramedics Plus, Chief Operating Officer.
Thanks, Mike.
At this time, no employee within the city of Sioux Falls or within Paramedics Plus has worked without any type of proper accreditation or licensure.
Not one time in the last year.
Not one time, sir.
What would happen if somebody was working with an expired license? What could be the sanction?
Counselor, if I can, the ordinance is about approving the annual rate increase. So I'm trying to get your line of question. Are you questioning the quality? I'm just trying to tie in what you're doing. This is probably the, I don't know, fourth meeting we've had on this. So if you could just help the people of Sioux Falls as well as the chair tonight.
Okay, I
Try
don't
to
think
figure
it's
out what you're doing.
okay. I don't think it's appropriate to share details, but I've talked to 6 paramedics and I'm hearing certain stories, and so I'm just asking questions. So I just
So like I said, we have over 1,500 employees in our company. When we get notified that we have someone who has an expired license, okay, and they all expire at different times. It's not January 1 for all these people. It's everyone's a specific date. When we get notified, we automatically administratively suspend those people. But keep in mind, as someone could have their driver's license revoked, and we are not automatically notified. There's no mechanism that we currently have to do that.
about driver's license. I'm talking about their EMT license.
Okay, and so we would have to be notified either by the state of South Dakota, or from a paramedic standpoint would be from the National Registry.
Correct.
They don't send us those notifications. But if we find out that happens, we would administratively suspend. And what we're telling you is we are not aware of anyone in this organization who's worked on a suspended license.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll provide information on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Counselor?
Fine.
Thank you. Again, yes, Counselor Starr.
Absolutely. I think the thing that we're doing tonight is talking about contract compliance. You know, we have a $12 million exclusive franchise with your organization, and I want to apologize if you think that we've mistreated you, but we've asked some pretty tough questions because part of our responsibility as a council to make sure that there is contract compliance. This is a multi-leveled process that we're going through. We've heard some things. We want to go through that. We want to make sure that we have the best ambulance service possible for the citizens of Sioux Falls. Whether we can do better, I think no matter what the system is, there's always opportunity to make the system better. I think we've, again, asked some really tough questions, and I think we're getting those answers. I think our directors Director Franken's been more than willing to answer our questions, and I appreciate that, and I think the rest of the council does. One of the things that's still outstanding for me for contract compliance is the mutual aid agreements that are within the county of other ambulance services that are in the area. Have those been completed and on file with REMSA?
So we are working on mutual aid agreements. We have ones that are in place, and we continue to work on mutual aid agreements. Okay. But once again, I'll go back to public comment last week where there's folks that want to be reimbursed for mutual aid agreements, and in our industry, that is very uncommon that reimbursement occurs because it's both ways. We go out and help people, and other people come and help us. And in this industry, and I can speak from an industry standpoint, I'm the president-elect of the American Ambulance Association. Mutual aid agreements are usually mutual, and there are no binding dollars that move because we all occasionally do not have enough units to take care of a surge situation. So that it is very uncommon to have dollars exchanged in a mutual aid arrangement.
Okay. Is that consistent with all of the for-profit and the not-for-profit?
For-profit and non-for-profit and city-based services.
Councilor Starr, thank you for that
Can
context.
I get one
sure.
more?
Go ahead, sir.
I'm throwing one more. One of the people who had done public input here just a minute ago asked about why is the VA contract cheaper than what the citizens of Sioux Falls are paying? And I guess, can you give us a reason why that contract was bid at such a lower rate than what we're charging the citizens of Sioux Falls?
Absolutely. So you have the VA, who is a payer, and the VA will pay us the rate that we bid 100% every time we transport. So we will be paid 100% for those transports. With the City of Sioux Falls franchise agreement, we bill all patients. Some people pay us full, some people pay us half. Medicare pays about 30-some%, Medicaid probably 10%, and we have patients who never pay us anything. So it's a combination of all those together, and if everybody paid, we would have a lot cheaper ambulance rates.
Thank you.
And Councilor Starr, I want to thank you for your context. The contract compliance argument or reason for the questions makes all kinds of perfect sense. So thank you. Mark, thank you. Mike, thank you. Councilor Staley.
We want to have a fabulous ambulance service in our community. And I think the public looks to the council, even though I know we're talking about a contract.
Councilor Staley, do you need Mike and Mark?
No, I do
No,
not.
thank you.
No,
Sit down. You bet. Thank you. Councilor Staley, my apologies.
But we have been getting a lot of feedback from the public about the ambulance service. And I'm going to be voting yes tonight, but I'm somewhat reluctant about that. We don't have a choice in this because the contract has been negotiated. We've been told by the city attorney that we have to approve this, which in itself is problematic for us moving forward when we have contracts that we're signing off on and we don't have any input into the context of those. But there's three things that I have a concern with that I'm hoping that this will be reassured as we move through this year, as you said you're going to do. The first thing is that we make sure we have a wonderful work environment for the employees in the ambulance, driving the ambulances. I've heard that the morale and the morale is low, the salaries are low. Maybe that's not true. I haven't really been able to get the information on that. Availability of ambulances in all parts of our city has to be there. People have to be assured that when they call 911, an ambulance will come. And the third thing that I'm concerned with is that we need to have more willingness to allow other ambulance companies to help with the non-emergency transport. We're talking about those mutual aid agreements. I think our public wants to know that we have backup in case of a catastrophe. Going forward, I'm going to say to the public that we want to hear from the citizens, we want to hear from employees. As we move forward this year, let's work to ensure that we have the greatest accountability and the greatest service for our citizens.
Councilor Staley, thank you. Just a point of clarification, the council does approve the contracts, Councilor, so you do have the ability to make changes or recommendations.
Well, that's not what we were told by the city attorney. We can't change this contract.
No, we already approved it.
It's been signed, Councilor. Council Chair Rolfing.
And I would point out, I think, too, that there is a way that this contract could be changed, and that is if Paramedics Plus was in non-compliance with the contract. And that's why this group has the vote on it each year, to make sure that they are in compliance with the numbers that we have and that there are no big problems. And then we could do something. But when we do not have, or when they are in full compliance, in fact exceeding it, therefore we need to go ahead with this.
Very good. Council Vice Chair Kelly.
Just a couple of questions, quick questions for Director Franken.
Jill?
Once again, can you just simply affirm that the current provider, Paramedics Plus, has met the needs and the requirements of the contract?
Yes, they have.
And also, have they performed above and beyond that of the previous provider?
Yes, they have.
Okay, and then thank you very much. And Mark Postma and Mike Bureau, if I could just ask a quick question of you.
Counselor, you need them both?
I think so.
Okay.
And gentlemen, since you have represented Paramedics Plus here this evening in previous meetings, can you once again state that you are committed to improving the the service to the citizens of Sioux Falls?
Absolutely, 100%, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I know that's the purpose for all the questions the last few weeks, that we do want to have the best service possible for the citizens of Sioux Falls, and I thank you for that commitment, and I urge my fellow councilors to vote yes on this item.
Counselor Erickson.
Thank you. I would echo Councilor Kiley as well. And, you know, there was a few months ago where I had a constituent contact me and had a concern. And I called Director Franken, and she immediately said, let's sit down and talk. And myself and Councilor Karski sat down with Mike Bureau. And during that time, we came up with solutions to some of the issues that took place. Some of the suggestions were offered by them, some by Councilor Karski and myself, and we saw change, which was very important to us to see that they were receptive to what we wanted to see happen as well. You know, it's unfortunate how some of this has played out, and I am hopeful that you will continue to be receptive to suggestions from the council as well as constituents, as we know it's a learning process as we move forward, and you are new to the community. So I just thank you for being here and answering some of the questions as well, and we look forward to improving the service alongside with you.
Councilor Selberg, before I go back to Councilor Neitzert, any additional comments? You don't have to, sir. I just have to, before I go back to him.
That's fine.
Councilor Neitzert.
I guess in closing, I want to say that I'm somebody who likes to collect evidence. I like to do my due diligence. And as this was going on, I was hearing two polar opposite things. I was hearing these doomsday scenarios on one side, and then I was hearing everything is wonderful. So I was trying to figure out, where does the truth lie? And I figured it's probably somewhere in the middle. You know, no service is perfect. I don't think it's near as bad as what some people are portraying. So I reached out, and I talked to 6 paramedics. One led to another, which led to another, which led to another. And I spoke to each of them for 1 to 2 hours, minimum 1 hour. And they really opened up on the condition of anonymity. And it was wonderful because with 6 different people, it helped to balance out some of the extremes, but it also helped to confirm certain things. There are some issues, I think, internally, and I heard a lot of passion from these employees. I mean, they really want to do the best job that they can, and I think this level 0 thing was totally overblown. Level 0 is not the issue. There's other issues, and that's why I'm just asking questions, because I want the citizens to be safe, and I want employee morale to be the best it can be. They did express concerns about employee morale. Training, some of these things that are going to lead to some of the quality that we're going to have. And they shared some things that I'm not going to say them publicly. I'm going to share them with staff because that's the appropriate thing to do, and I'm sure that they'll take action. But I can't ignore some of the things that I heard. That being said, this is a contract. By law, we have to approve the rate increase. And one of the things that they talked about was pay. This will help to go towards their pay and increase their pay, which is low. But to be fair to Paramedics Plus, pay is low throughout the industry, and Paramedics Plus has been increasing pay here to their credit. So I'm going to support this, but I'm just going to still be asking questions. I just want to make that clear.
A roll call vote, please.
Council Member Starr?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Kiley?
Yes.
Neitzert?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Selberg?
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Thank you. And Mark and Mike and your team, I want to personally apologize to you, your team. I should have been much more cognizant and much more diligent during the public input part of the meeting last week. After the meeting, I had council leadership discuss it with me, and certainly after hearing your comments tonight, I failed, and I truly apologize. I will do my best to listen more intently so that this doesn't happen again. But again, with all the things that have been going on in the country, I think the people of Sioux Falls have to understand these folks are called first responders. So they are in the same category as a police officer, as a fire person, and as again, a first responder. So, you know, anyone who threatens them with shooting or anything like that is completely inappropriate. Again, my apologies to you and to your team, and Council Chair Rolfing, my apologies to you and the council as well for letting that dialogue to take place at all. Council Chair Rolfing, I apologize.
Thank you.
Y'all come back now. Here.
What kind of morons run this outfit?